So today we're talking about Kurukulle. Her name is Rikjema, the female cause of awareness, life force, the urge to merge, bodhicitta, vitality. Kurukulle is an antidote to ignorance. She's the source of awareness. And Kurukulle is part of the Mother Tantra, considered to be a form of Tara, red Tara specifically. And since enlightenment is the natural state, it actually requires effort to avoid enlightenment. Kurukulle is the symbol of the magnetism of the enlightened state. Since the enlightened state is completely natural, the natural state, you just roll into it. Once you finally learn to stop making all that effort to avoid it. So a practitioner of Kurukulle will develop a real bodhisattva nature. It will cultivate the 6 paramitas. And as a result of cultivating the 6 paramitas, they'll become more and more generous. Because of that, people will be drawn to them. As a result of becoming more and more honest, people will respect them. So it all goes back to these 6 paramitas. And Kurukulle's magnetizing function, it is the magnetizing function of enlightenment, of the beyond, which pulls all beings out of suffering. The magnetism that pulls you away from suffering into the natural enlightened state, bodhicitta. So there's 2 fundamental energies here at play. First, we have this survival instinct. That's the part of us that tries to keep us away from enlightenment, to protect us because we're scared, terrified. And then the other energy that's at play is this energy of bodhicitta, of the enlightened mind. And this energy can manifest really the same as like the energy of sexual attraction. That is when it's not all like twisted and grasped at and attached to by our desires and aversion. When we do that, it becomes desirous, a desire. But this urge to merge, fundamentally, is the capacity to love. So think about like a mother's love for her child. A mother's love for her child can override that first survival energy, that survival instinct, when the child is in danger. Or you can think about like young, horny men. They're always doing incredibly stupid and reckless and dangerous things to impress their potential mates. They're overriding that survival instinct in order to try to find connection. I know I've done very stupid things for the sake of dating and love and relationships. But ultimately, these are all expressions of that same energy of magnetism, this magnetism of enlightenment, this magnetism of bodhicitta, of our capacity to love. It draws us home to a true refuge. And so when we practice Kurukulle, it's her magnetism that represents this pull, this movement towards awakening, away from separation, away from division, but towards a union with reality. So we don't mean magnetism as to get us more stuff, draw more desires in towards us, accumulate more. The magnetism that we're talking about here is a magnetism that brings us home to a deeper truth within ourselves. And so this is a tantric practice. And in Tantra, we work with sadhanas. A sadhana is a exercise of imagination. Practice which utilizes our imagination and repetition, and it brings us closer to recognizing our own true nature. It's bodhicitta we've been talking about. It works below the intellect, or behind the intellect. Completely bypasses the intellect. It teaches us through symbols, through the subconscious mind, using symbols. Tantra isn't a figured out practice. It's a sit down and just give it a try. Don't think too much about it. Just follow the instructions, the sadhana. Sadhana is just a practice text. Series of instructions. In that sense, it's kind of easy to do because you print it out, you put it in front of you, and you just read along, do what it says. So, we basically start, because some sadhanas are really, really long. I mean, some takes days to go through. I think some takes weeks to go through, often in retreat settings. But often we start off with a small practice, a small sadhana, a small instruction to try to do every day on the cushion. And we just start with whatever part we can do. We just let it grow. Often we start with just the mantra. And we do the mantra for a while, saying the mantra. We just let whatever visualization, imagery arise that can arise. You don't try to perfect it. Build it up slowly. And so then maybe we just work with the first page of the sadhana. And that's maybe all we can get through. When we add the second page, we start to learn more and habituate more to it. And eventually we work our way up through the full text. So we do this step by step. Coming into Tantra can be a little bit overwhelming. So just one step at a time, one imaginary image at a time, one mantra at a time. Just try to do that in mindfulness, wholeheartedly. Give our full 100% to just whatever part of the practice we may be doing, or saying, or visualizing. And if you don't have a dorji and bell, that's perfectly fine. You don't need one. Plenty of tantric practitioners were very, very poor and didn't use them. Sometimes they would just bang rocks together. Their altars were just stone stacked. Because Tantra is not about all the material. It's about inner transformation. So if you have a dorji and bell, sure, you're welcome to use it. But if not, you can do the hand mudras. Right? There's hand mudras for offerings. And they're kind of fun to do. Kind of somatic. Get the body involved in making offerings and working it. It's really kind of fun. So play with it. And don't take it all so seriously. Don't take yourself so seriously. If you have that mind of like perfection, I need to do this perfectly, we don't want to bring that to Tantra. We want to give it our all. We want to try the best we can, but we don't want to turn it into a thing. We don't want to solidify it into a to-do list of how it should be and start judging ourselves. That's not what Tantra is about. Tantra is about turning and coming to really experience that bodhicitta nature. It's beyond words, beyond the intellect. Using these practices that don't make a lot of logical sense to help us just get a taste for that, to experience that. So Tantra's usually best done on retreat, where you can really immerse yourself in it. Long retreats, but even short retreats, where you're just working it night and day after day. But we're lay people, the full catastrophe of life with families and jobs and relationships. So if we can go do these practices on retreat, how wonderful. But if we can't, we can still do it in our daily life. Once a day, each morning or each evening, a couple times a week, depending on our lifestyle. Obviously, the more we put into the practice, the more we're going to probably get out of it, like anything else. If we don't really devote ourselves deeply to it, we probably won't get a lot of benefit. But if we can still remain not so serious, not taking it in ourselves so serious, but devote ourselves to really train and develop and practice, to really experience what these teachings have to offer in our body, in our mind, in our relationship, then results will manifest. And so we can practice, again, on the cushion, doing formal sessions, just like we would meditation. We can also do the mantra of Kurukulle and the visualization as we do walking meditation. Indoor walking meditation, outdoor walking meditation. But usually when we're doing like the full sadhana, we do that sitting down, setting some time aside to practice. You can get through it in maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour at most, depending on how the rhythm that you go through it. But we want to make sure that we're practicing it daily so we don't forget it. I know for me, I've probably forgotten more Dharma than I'll ever realize. It goes in, I remember it for a while, but eventually you put it on the shelf, put it in the back of your mind, and then weeks go by, months go by, years go by, and it falls out of memory. So Tantra, we always want to keep it in the forefront of our mind. Daily practice. Throughout the day. And on the days that we just may not have the time to sit down and do a full sadhana, that's okay, just do the mantra. And just practice the text when you can. The commitment for practice for Tantra, as it was transmitted to me, was bodhicitta. Do your best. Cultivate bodhicitta the best you can. That was the commitment that was told to me. If possible, at the end of your practice session, spend as much time resting in the natural state as you can. That's really the important part. Because ultimately this practice is about training the mind. So the practices and trainings, they build up slowly, one after another. It's a lot of visualizations. We can learn them slowly, developmentally, practice them step by step. It is very difficult to visualize all the details clearly, properly. And we don't want to be overwhelmed. We don't want to turn this into a thing again. We're learning. It's going to take a long time to learn. Think about how long we spent at school learning language, and history, and math. So we can take this slowly, step by step. I'm not going to worry about perfection. If we fixate on trying to be perfect, every little thing perfect, every pronunciation perfect, every visualization perfect, we're just going to have a lot of thoughts, conceptual thoughts, rumination about our practice, judgment. We don't want to get in that. We don't want to go that way. We want to be open and loose. Whatever our practice is, it's okay. Wherever we are on the path, it's okay. We're in samsara. So we don't need to have expectations about perfection. Here in samsara, we need to take care of ourselves first. Be kind to ourselves, gentle with ourselves. That's how we put ourselves on the right path. So we need to keep our mind focused and trained on what we need to focus on what we need to practice, but in a way that's not attached, that's not neurotic, that's not going to shift into judgment, anxiety or worry or self-critique. I'm so fortunate to just have a mind that can do so much. We have a mind. We have a life where we have the ability to train our minds. For many of us, the idea of training our mind may not have done that much in our life. Our minds might be unruly. Minds might be causing us a lot of suffering throughout our life. Not just this life, but our past lives too. So many past lives, animals, birds, hungry ghosts, so much suffering. But today, we have a precious human body, a precious human mind, an opportunity to train our mind, an opportunity to do something different. So, with this precious opportunity, have like a sense of curiosity. Generate a sense of like excitement, curiosity, adventure for the practice. We're going to do something that we haven't done before with our minds and bodies. Many people don't have that opportunity, even in this life. They don't have the ability to take time to devote to training their mind. Many of them are just stuck in rumination and suffering. And so, as we learn this practice, if it feels that it doesn't make a lot of sense, perfect. That's what we're going for. That's the perfect way to look at these teachings. It doesn't make sense. Leave trying to make sense of things just for your worldly life. But when we step into kind of the realm of Tantra, we want to abide in this mind of it doesn't make sense. And be okay with that. When we abide in this mind of, yeah, it doesn't make sense, then we'll allow the benefits to arise. If we're trying to figure out the practice, and yeah, this all makes sense to me. I got this. I understand Tantra. We're just using our conceptual thinking, our analytical intellect. Right? But that's not what this practice is about. This practice goes beyond the intellect. It sidesteps the intellect. Usually our thinking mind is deluded by all our karmic patterns, trying to figure it out and all the past ways we figured it out. So we leave that behind, and that can be tough. It takes a little bit of courage to say, I'm going to abide and it doesn't make sense, because that's so unnatural for us. It's so uncomfortable to abide in, I don't know. Sometimes it's uncomfortable even to say, I don't know. We always want to have an answer. We always want to fill that empty silence, that space of a conversation with an answer. And Tantra, I don't know. I don't know. It's a good place to be. When we rest there, then we can just try the practice without expectations. We don't feel like, I have to do it perfect every time. I mean, most of our life we're thinking that I have to do my work perfect. I have to do my relationships perfect. I have to do my hobbies, my interests perfect. Everything I have to do, I have to be perfect at. But reality isn't perfect. And this isn't a way of perfection. Life can be messy. I'm sure we all know that. And we practice by falling down, getting back up, falling down and getting back up again and again. There's no difference here in this practice. We give it our best, we make mistakes, we fall down, we get back up. So we just listen to the teachings and we just try the best we can. Over time, we hope we just learn a little bit more, develop a little bit more, train the mind a little bit more. And after our practice, really feel like I did the best I could, regardless of what I think about it. Today I sat down, I gave it my all. I tried my best. And we may not see our benefits immediately. We're planting these seeds within us, or watering these seeds within us. So it takes a little bit of trust and confidence to realize that, hey, these seeds, these benefits are within us. They're there, they've always been there. I'm going to simply just water them. Even if they can't be seen by my thinking mind. Because the most important thing about this practice is to understand the reality of ourselves, who and what we really are. That takes time. That takes deep looking. It takes a courage, a commitment to look again and again. So the main point is just do this practice to understand ourselves. We need to know all the causes and conditions that brought us to this moment, that make up what we call ourselves. Causes that cause us to suffer, and all the causes that bring benefit to our life. And so these teachings, Kurukulle, help us little by little to just gain a little bit better understanding what it means to be a real human.